I don't like being repetitive with my video intros, so let's just do a very quick review of the new 151 for those of you who are new around here. The new 151 is a project that I've been running since 2016 with my friends Infinipede and Banana Meteor to redesign every Pokemon from Generation 1. We most recently posted Chansey and Tangela. You can see all of the art on our Tumblr page. The link to that is in the description. Or you can watch this series of videos where I talk about what we did. I should say where we talk about what we did, because starting today, Infinipede and Banana Meteor will be the ones to give you the details on the concepts and designs that they took the lead on. And because we started streaming our design process, second Saturday of every month, right here on this channel, we'd love for you to join us. I'm also going to show you just a bit of that process rather than taking you straight to the final product. Today, we're covering the Grimer, Sheldor, and Gastly families. So let's start with Grimer and Muck, two of the simplest Pokemon designs of all time, classic Gen 1 designs. Infinipede was the one that took the lead on these guys. Here's what they have to say.
So Grimer and Muck are inspired by, first of all, the idea that we now have a pollution trio with Coughing and Wheezing, Grimer and Muck, and then Trubbish and Garbodor as air, water, and ground pollution, respectively. So Grimer and Muck were altered somewhat to fit that niche to be more specifically about water pollution. That's part of why you have the six-pack rings on Grimer's back, is that's a common pollutant of oceans and water, as well as Muck's back being a fat burb, which is what happens in sewers when cooking oil from restaurants and non-flushable things go down the toilet and into the sewers, and it causes things to congeal into this sort of almost solidified mass of fat and oil and nastiness. Muck has no nostrils, but Grimer does have, you can see nostrils on its face. That's actually because the Pokedex mentions that Muck lost its nostrils, thus why Grimer has them and Muck doesn't, so it can't smell itself. Muck's Pokedex entry also mentions it having footprints, so I sort of raised its body up and gave it feet, but still tried to keep that sort of gloppy feel, so it's got that long tail trailing behind it. I think people in the stream commented that it has a almost kaiju-esque look, which is pretty great because there is a garbage or pollution kaiju, Hedora, if I remember correctly. My designs typically skirt the edge of like what's too complex to be a Pokemon. I'm pretty satisfied with the designs. I don't remember about the colors much. I think those came up during the course of the stream. I think looking at it now, maybe the yellow on Muck looks a little bit too much like honey on the raised arm. But other than that, I think they came out pretty excellent.
Next, let's have a look at Sheldor and Cloister. These are much more complex than Grimer and Muck in design, but not so much in concept. They're not much more than just bivalves. Here's Infinipede again with their thoughts on the redesign.
So, Sheldor and Cloister, I didn't feel I needed to change a whole lot. The main thing I saw with them that was an issue was similar to Dugong and Seal, that you don't see really much of that ice typing with them. I mean, they're obviously water types, they're clams or oysters, but you're not seeing much of that ice typing. So the two places I wanted to bring that in were in the lining of the inside of the shell, which has a sort of mother of pearl look to it, as well as you can see little strings sticking off the back of Sheldor and as Cloister as well, though they're a little more spike-like in Cloister. Those are based on byssus. They're actually little threads that mussels create to help themselves stick to rocks. The other big ice type thing was with Cloister, I wanted to change the spikes on the shell into icicles that were coming up and out of the shell, to maybe think that it could fire them out of those little holes, like cannonballs or the like. So that would make Spike Cannon a pretty threatening move. The other main thing I changed was definitely, moving the horn on Cloister's, on the inside of Cloister's shell to the top of its head, because we're all adults here. Y'all know what that looks like. As well as the stripes, just to break up the plain color on the body a little bit. I was inspired by zebra mussels, which are, I'm not sure exactly how bad they are as an invasive species in other parts of the world, but up here in like northeastern US, they're a pretty nasty invasive species. I might actually want to change some stuff about the shape of Cloister's shell. Change the shell opening where the head is poking out to less of a sort of generic jaggedy thing. Maybe just make it almost a little more like Sheldor's, where it's not just like even zigzags, but rather it has more of a pattern to it, so it's less. So it breaks everything up more and it draws your eye more to Cloister's face. But otherwise, I think the designs came out all right.
To finish off, we have Gastly, Haunter, and Gengar, and I was pretty excited to work on these. I took the idea for the concepts from a particular way of interpreting the original designs that I've seen somewhere around the community. Basically, the view is that each stage is slowly pushing through from an alternate reality. So first there's Gastly, where only the face is through, then Haunter with more of the head as well as the hands, and finally Gengar is the full body having come through. The gassy bits represent the parts that are still on the other side and carry through for the entire family. I paired that idea with the Cheshire Cat from Alice in Wonderland since it also fades in and out of existence. So even though the whole family is still pretty ghost-like, they now have some cat-like features like their eyes and whiskers, their tails, and to a degree the shapes of their ears. The idea for the colors comes mostly from Mega and Gigantamax Gengar, both of which are mostly purple but have an otherworldly red glow where they disappear into the ground. I wanted their main body to be extremely black, like the pigment Black 3.0, which absorbs nearly all of the light that hits it. That way their red extremities, the insides of their mouths, and their bright yellow cat eyes would all stand out in stark contrast like a disembodied face looking out from the shadows. So as happy as I am with their designs, and I do love how they turned out, I'm not thrilled about the drawings themselves. The strong highlights from our usual watercolor style just don't really work that well on a black body, especially if we're talking about skin that absorbs 98% of visible light. The highlights just don't work. But I do love the idea and the designs though. Let us know in the comments what you thought of today's batch of redesigns. I apologize to all of the Banana Meteor fans out there that we didn't cover any of her redesigns in today's video, but we will next time. Again, you can have a look at our Tumblr to see all of the designs that we've posted so far, or you can follow us on Twitter to make sure you see whenever we post something new. Links to all of that in the description. And you can join us when we live stream our design process. The next stream will be redesigning Horsey and Seadra, and that'll be taking place on July 10th at noon Pacific time. Thank you to Infinipede for lending their voice to today's video. Thank you for watching, and thank you to all of the Libros who support this channel through Patreon or YouTube channel memberships, especially luxury patron Ethan from Chicago. I'll see you in the next chapter.